Hello, hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Oh, phenomenal. Actually, before we even get started, I have to tell you one of our listeners, I have to say hello to Claudia Jean because she reached out to us and told us that we are now part of her morning walking routine. So, Claudia Jean, if you're listening on your little walk this morning, just know good morning and we love you. And I'm so excited. I love when fans reach out.
I do too. Like the feedback is really like what keeps this going. If there was no feedback, I'd be like, nobody's listening. I'm out of here. Bye.
Totally.
But
No, it's been really
peop-
cool just to hear how it's impacted people and the stories that they're telling us and stuff. So I know we're moving a ton of people forward. What episode number are we on? Do you know?
don't even ask me that. We're over 160.
It's
This might be like
that's
167 or
amazing.
something like that. I don't know.
That's amazing. I wish
Um,
I was better at math so I could tell you how many people that is, but that's really cool.
Yes, it is cool. I mean, we've had amazing, amazing guests on the show. There's amazing guests to come. So we just keep moving forward. This is super cool.
I'm excited. So you want to hear a funny story?
I do want to hear a funny story.
Okay, it's like totally embarrassing, but and also in my quest to live my authentic life and let other people know that they can do the same, I'm going to tell you this story. You and the, thousands of listeners around the world. So a while back, I had a sore throat and I was worried that it might be like strep or something like that. So I was like, okay, I think I need to go to my local like little clinic, right? So I go to the little clinic, and of course, the guy there is like this young hot doctor guy, and or whatever the medical degree that he has is. But anyway, so he goes, okay, well, we're gonna do a COVID test, and I'm gonna do a strep test, and blah blah. And he goes, okay, I'm gonna swab the back of your throat, but I'm really gonna get in there. I'm really gonna. I want to make sure I get a really great swab. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready. So I brace my, now I hate this. Like I gag constantly every time they do this, right? So I put my head up against like the chair, right? Like I put my head against the back of the seat so that I know I won't be able to pull back. I'm like, okay, I'm strong. I can do this. I had mentally prepared myself for the gagging, everything. The guy takes out the longest swab you've ever seen in your life, shoves it, I swear to God, into my brain, like through my throat. He just gets in. And as soon as he does, of course, I'm like, choking to death. But what I did not anticipate, Julietta, is that my throat is apparently connected to my bladder. And my bladder was like, oh, let's pee right now. Yay. So sure enough, mommy bladder kicks in and I'm like, oh shit. Oh my God, I just peed. Okay, wait. I think I'm okay. So now I'm sweating, right? Because this like 25-year-old guy, great, let me do the other side of that. And I'm like, sure, no problem, absolutely. Same exact situation repeats itself. Back of my throat, gagging to death, peeing my pants. I'm like, oh my God, I was wearing jeans. So I was like, I think I can make it, right? So I'm like, could you excuse me for just a second? I just gonna go powder my nose. And I like shuffle my way to the bathroom. Everything is okay. Nothing is terrible that, he has seen has happened. I'm like, oh, I narrowly escaped this. I will never do this again. Except, of course, that's not how the universe works. So 3 weeks later, I get sick again and I have to go in for this strep test because if I have strep, I don't want to pass it on to anybody, right? I'm like, okay, but this time I'm like, I'm so ready, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do like all the old ladies that I'm now a part of, and I'm gonna wear a panty liner. So I go. Sure enough, man, this time he's got an assistant there. It's the same guy. He's got an assistant. Now I have an audience. Back of the throat. I'm like dying here, or whatever. But this time I'm like, I'm wearing a pad. I'm like, I got this nailed. Anyway, same exact thing happens. I'm dying. And at this point, I'm laughing so hard because I know everything that's going on. The guy's like, are you okay? He's like, it's just a strep test. I'm like, well, first of all, you put that in so deep, pretty sure you could send that one to the gynecologist, for just an extra swab. But yeah, I'm like, I just want you to know, like, I'm 48. I've had twins. I pee now. I just pee all the time. And that guy was absolutely dying of laughter. Like, it was funny. I felt bad for him also. And also, I feel like I needed to normalize this. Like, you need to understand as a 25-year-old male that if you're going to swab the back of my throat, these things might happen. It might happen. So, anyway.
Well, Amen. Um, I have so much to say about this, but first of all, like, yes, people need to get comfortable talking about it because it's a problem that so many people are dealing with, and there's stuff that can be done about it so that you're not peeing yourself all the time. But it's funny that you bring this up because, in my work as a physical therapist, emotional stuff comes up from time to time. And what
Sure.
has been interesting to me is that childhood stories of pooping your pants or peeing your pants have come up, but it's like as adults we're still holding the trauma. And I
Sure.
had my childhood peeing my pants. I was in the second grade in the library at school. I had my book that I was going to check out, and I was in line to check out my book, and I had a pee, but I was like, I didn't want to lose my place in line, and I'm like, I'm almost there, I can hold it, I can do this. And yeah, I couldn't. And I ended up peeing my pants in the library in second grade.
Oh my
If
God.
that's not bad enough, one of my classmates made up a song about me peeing
Oh,
my pants and
brutal.
like sang that song to me, from the time I was in second grade till the time I was in eighth grade and we moved
Oh,
out of town. And like, while I was traumatized to move as a 14-year-old and like lose all my friends and have to start all over, I was also just so relieved that I would never have to hear that song again. And Sarah, if you're out there, know that you tortured me by me creating that song. But it's interesting like how as children like these things can hang out and like create
absolutely.
emotional physical trauma that sticks with us forever. So children, be nice to each other, but also know that, hey, peeing your pants, pooping your pants is things that happen to us because we're human, and it's okay.
And it's okay. Honestly, we could open every episode with a pee poopy story because there are so many out there.
I bet you. But
Actually, this is a great idea. Okay, I'm brilliant. I'm brilliant. I would love, I want to see who the brave person is. Go into our Voices of the Goddess Facebook group and put in your story. Please, oh my God, share a story. Don't leave us hanging here out by ourselves. Go in there, tell us a story. I'm dying to hear it. I want to hear all about it. I just, it's so, like, it's just part of being so real, right? It just
it's
is.
human. It's
Yeah, at least your
human.
story is old. My story's like 6 months old.
So we have
Oh,
adult
life.
stories too. I won't share those. But anyway, Graciela, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break and then we're going to bring our guest on.
Awesome. See you in a bit.
Here she is. Welcome to the show, Christina.
Hi, ladies. Thank you for having me.
Hi, good morning. Look at your beautiful happy face. Oh, if you're just listening to us on the podcast, hop on YouTube. Come look at this big smile. You won't believe it.
I had such a great time listening to the incontinence issues. I tell a story.
Can you relate? Can you relate?
Yes. So the past week I had a stomach virus and nothing would stay in. So eventually somebody recommended Imodium for me. So, the back door would close.
Yeah.
I go to the store and I'm getting the thing, but I get the Walgreens version that says like anti-diarrhea. So like the line is long. I'm like almost about to cry because I just go home and take the pills. I go to the cash register. The guy looks at it. He's like, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "Obviously not great." And I go home and I'm like crying to my sister. I go, "Why would they put anti-diarrhea on it? That is so
Oh, there you go. There you go. I'm telling you, it's real life. It's real life, girl. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. You look amazing. I love seeing your happy face.
Thank you, ladies.
So, can you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you do and what keeps you passionate in it?
Awesome. Okay, so my name is Christina Daniels, and I am a blogger and an empowerment coach. I started in about 2019, and I've had the opportunity to like grow my audience to about like 35,000 a month. But my sisters have helped me, and family members, to kind of learn how to do those different things. And I've been able to just like talk to different women about relationships, self-esteem, self-care, and just really empower them as an empowerment coach. So I'm passionate about helping people live from a place of power instead of victimhood and pain, and just using every life lesson or obstacle to kind of take them to the next level.
That's
Wonderful,
beautiful.
wonderful.
Thank
That's
you.
beautiful. That's 35,000 is nothing to shake a stick at. That's an amazing following.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. You know, I can get caught up in the doing and not really appreciate where I'm at, because of course, like, the audience doesn't always translate to money. That's where I have to remember, like, I'm doing this for people, not for my, you know, my pocket, really.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us one of your success stories?
With a client?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You know, this week I actually had a consultation with a mom, and it was really cool because all it took was one consultation. She was overwhelmed and she was just telling me about her life. And I suggested that she ask her job for 3 days off to work at home. And also, if she said her mom helps her a lot, so I was like, you can ask your mom to make those freezer dinners that you just throw in the crock pot and just make 3 weeks straight. So you wake up, you throw it in, blah blah blah. She said, I never thought of that, and my job is so amazing, they would be more than happy to let me work from home 3 days a week. So I feel like that was one of the quickest success stories I ever had, and it just immediately like relieved her anxiety, because as you were saying, Graciela, as a mom, there's so much going on, right? And it's just like, if you can find a way to just get 45 minutes for yourself to love on yourself, I think it makes the world of a difference.
And
I
it's
know.
interesting, you know, because
Totally...
that's my
This
turn,
is probably when
Graciela.
everybody loves talking. Go ahead.
No, but those solutions were actually quite simple. But when you're like in the middle of all of the storm and everything, you can't see these super simple solutions that can have such an enormous impact on your life. So it's important that we have people that can be outside the storm looking in and saying, hey, this is all you got to do to make your life so much easier. So
Yeah.
And I think it's so much about permission, right? Like, I remember when I was in my corporate job, I always thought to myself, oh, I can never take a longer lunch, or, oh, I have to go in today. You know, one day I went in with a fever of like 102 because I had a deadline, and everybody looked at me like I was insane. And I really thought I was doing the right thing. And,
Wow.
you know, sometimes you just need someone to give you permission, right? To say it's okay to ask. And especially now, you know, Julietta, we talk about this a lot about asking for what you want. You know, it takes a conscious effort. I mean, would you agree?
absolutely.
So, speaking of, and you being in the woman world, what's one piece of advice that you learned from a woman that really changed your life? Share some wisdom with us.
Ooh, I think the first thing that pops to my head is, don't expect anyone to love you more than you love yourself. You know, I ended up in these different situations with people where I'm like, they didn't value me. And my mentor was like, but do you value you? That's the bigger question. And I find that travels with me as I'm getting older, and I feel like it'll be with me until the end of the time. But I think recently, even that translates to, what am I going to allow in my life? Because now that I know I'm worthy, and I value myself, it's like, I value you not treating me like that, you know?
Yeah. It's funny you said value, which is a distinction from love, right? Because I always feel like I love myself, right? Like I don't hate myself, but do I value myself, right? And that's a totally different
Wow.
state of being, you know? That's really powerful that you said that you used the word value, I think.
I like that you made the distinction between the words too, because that is powerful, right? Because we can love ourselves, and a lot of people would think of love as like shallow, a little bit more shallow. Like, I like the way I look, I like the way that I show up in the world. But then it's like, can you take it that next step forward? Am I going to protect my energy? Am I going to protect my peace? Am I going to protect who I am from the other energies in the world that want to snuff out our flame, right?
And
Very
as
good.
women, so much, I think we struggle more so with, those of us in the entrepreneurial realm, and we've also talked about, even when you're an employee, the asking for a raise, but those of us that are self-employed, like asking to be compensated financially for what we do at a level that any man would do. I don't know what it is about us as women that we struggle to know our value and respect our value, and you know ask for what we're worth, ask for um you know what we deserve. And it's too easy for us to drop ourselves down a notch and not see our true value. So
Yeah. Even if we're not dropping ourselves down, like like for me, sometimes I forget to climb, sometimes I'm like, okay, I made it. And I'm taking a breath at this plateau. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, I've been sitting here too long. Like I need to go more. And it's not even that I'm tearing myself down. Like I don't feel that at all. I just forget to move up.
Wow.
We talk about that, comes up a lot for me, like with pricing and things like that, right? Like, and sometimes Juliet and I just talk to each other like, yes, you need to raise your prices. Yes, we're better. Yes, we're good. Yes, we're, and it's just the same message back and forth. It just sounds better when I hear it from another person.
Absolutely. I love that you guys are even talking about when it comes to pricing, right? Because I think at the end of the day, like, we all need to know that who we are is, like, when it goes back to value, who we are is valuable. Like, no one can do it the way that we do it. Like, nobody could put the touch that Julieta does, or the touch that Graciela does, or the touch that I do. And I think when we learn that and we see that, it's like we realize it doesn't matter if, like, something area is oversaturated. If you want me, you have to pay for me, because I'm I'm one of a kind.
Yeah. I always say that about pizza shops. I say, if you look, pizza shop, Italian restaurants are the bravest business out there, because you could have a pizza shop and then 2 doors down in the same shopping center, you'll have another pizza shop. And then 3 blocks down from that, you'll have another pizza shop. And they're all successful and they're all great. And no one ever says, oh, they're making pizza, so I'm not going to make pizza. They're like, no, my pizza has one ingredient that your pizza doesn't. So my pizza's better. I mean, it's just incredible, right?
Yeah, and can I just say to that too? I did a photo session with Graciela, and I remember we were talking, and you were hoping that you had done some of these things a little earlier, right? That's what you shared with me. And I said to her, no, I actually signed up with you because I was looking for somebody to mother me in this place, right? I knew exactly what I needed, and I needed somebody to see my insecurities, but also to see my strengths and nurture that. And that's exactly what I got from her. And there were other photographers that came up on Google, but I specifically went to her for the unique things that she showed on the website. So I think that goes back to value. Like, your what we carry as people is what sometimes someone else needs.
I appreciate that. And I'm so glad we
Absolutely.
got that opportunity. You guys have to hop onto Christina's media so you can see her pictures, because she looks so incredible.
great photos. We are super avid readers on this show, and so we always like to know, what is a book that you wish every goddess would read, and why?
Ooh, I think there's a book by Bob Goff called, I might butcher the title, Love Always Does, or Love Does. And I think it just encourages any goddess to keep her heart open and to really just love people well. I feel like when we close off, we can't receive the beauty of the energies around us from different people, the love, the light, and we can't give anything. And what's the point of being on an earth with people if we can't give and receive, you know?
Sounds like a great book, right up my alley, because I'm all about love, everything love. Love is the greatest healing power that exists on the planet and in the universe. And so I'm always down for another love book. So I'll have to check this one out.
Isn't that amazing? Like every time we think we've heard them all, we hear one new one that we're like, never heard of it before. I'm going to have to stay alive at least 200 years to get through this reading list.
Graciela, if you reincarnate back on Earth, the books that have been written will still be here. So you can read here. You can continue your reading into the next lifetime.
Yeah, that is incredibly comforting. I'm going to have an Egyptian death. I would like to be buried in my library so that when I come back, I can just walk up to the shelf and pick it up and do it.
So can I ask you, ladies, who would you like to reincarnate as?
What a great question. Somebody without a mortgage.
I'm done reincarnating. This has been way too many lifetimes. And yeah, I'm okay with this one being the last one. So.
And see, it's interesting because ups and downs and crazy as it is, like I love the human experience. I love the good and the bad. You know, when I used to teach high school English, I used to say I love teen angst, you know, because it's so amazing to be able to, you know, you used the word mother earlier, you know, like it's so amazing to be able to reach back and pull someone up, and that's not, and I'm not even like that far up, you know what I mean? It's just like there's always some opportunity. And I just love the hot mess that is life. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't seen enough into the afterlife yet, but I don't know. I could do this a couple more times. It'd be fun. But let me ask you, speaking of what we're going to do next, and what we've done in the past, we talk a lot about risks, and a lot of our listeners are kind of terrified, like, oh, if I do this, is going to pay off? What's going to happen? So what's one big risk or leap that you've taken in your life that, you know, you were scared to do, but you know you're never going to regret? Like, I did this and I know it was the best thing I ever could have done, even though it was scary.
That's a really good one. I think the biggest risk is I quit my full-time job. I'm currently like a part-time teacher. So, and then I do my other stuff part-time as well. So I quit my full-time job and I was on the path to being a homeowner. So I had to kind of slow that down. I currently still live with my mom at 32. So I had to kind of swallow a lot of pride, a lot of ego, to be able to set myself up for what's next in life. And I think the big leap really is the ego, right? The ego and you know, our egos, or my ego, really loves money, and it really loves to be impressive to other people on the outside. But I think living your truest and your most authentic life is taking those chances and picking your passion, right?
Beautiful.
I also want to just comment to, you know, you're talking about you still living at home with your mom, and, you know, culturally it has become the norm for people to, you know, get out of their parents' home as soon as they can. But when you look at, you know, so many other cultures around the world, like keeping that family connection, like it's expected that you're going to stay with your family. Even driving around through, because you brought up Egypt before, families build their homes like on top of each other so that, you know, each generation like lives above the next. So you're all still in the same home, and, you know, they dine together and spend time together. Yeah. And so, you know, I don't know if this is just an American thing or, you know, cultures around the world that, you know, we're expected to, you know, leave home, but there's nothing wrong with staying home. And so I think we need to take that judgment, you know, out of there. And if it's working for you and it's working for your mom, like, that's awesome.
That's beautiful. Julieta, isn't like in Italy, don't most kids like stay home like into their 40s? I mean, like it's not uncommon, right?
I think typically you stay at home until you get married, but I'm not Italian. Don't. I'm not an expert, but a lot of cultures, yes, it's the when you stay at home until you get married.
Sure.
That's normal. But
Yeah.
but yeah, if everybody's happy, stay at home. Who cares?
Yeah,
That's it.
very blessed to have an amazing relationship with my mom. And I pay her a little something, something, and she gets to save.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. I mean, that's as it should be, right? I mean, one of the most freeing things, a friend of mine got married and they have separate bedrooms. And it's not that they don't like each other, it's that they physically sleep more comfortably with everyone having their own bed. And it's not the norm, but wow, it works for them and they're so happy and it's great. And honestly, you could be envious of the relationship that they have because they're so just comfortable and happy with each other. And I just thought, man, how liberating is that, right? To rid yourself of expectations and obligations and doing things because you have to and do the things that you want to, So there's no guilt and shame in anything that you're doing, girl. You're so intentional in how you live your life. And I'm so excited for your future. It's, I don't know. I'm just, not to mother, but I'm so proud of you, Christina.
All right. So we are building a library of sweet and delicious memories. And so we'd like to add your memory to the collection. What is your sweetest, most delicious memory?
Ooh, my mom. Okay, so it's a little sentimental. I said I wanted a double-deckered cake, I think for my 8th or something birthday. And I think our oven was broken or something. I don't know what it was. But my mom bakes this cake in the toaster and she puts together this double-deckered cake for me and it's like leaning to the side. And I was just so happy to have a cake. I think it was like chocolate and vanilla. And my mom said she nearly cried because we were, going through stuff, and that's the best she could do at that moment. But I think that is my most treasured sweet treat in my memory.
That is beautiful. I love that so much. I love that your mom figured it out. She made it happen in the way that it needed to happen, right? And your memory of it, it might as well have been a 27-layer cake off the runway, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's really what a gift, not just to you, but to your mom too. I think sometimes as parents, we think that what we're doing for our kids is not good enough. And we forget that in their eyes, it's the whole world. I used to have mayonnaise sandwiches after school because I thought they were like amazing and delicious. And then everyone else was like, that's not normal, right? Like, I was like, oh, maybe it was because we only had mayonnaise and bread. I don't know. That's a good question.
Too funny.
See why I love this, girl.
Awesome. Well, this show has been jam-packed, full of golden nuggets. So I hope everybody out there who's listening has enjoyed it and has taken something away. And thank you so much, Christina, for joining us this morning. It has been wonderful having you on the show.
Thank you. Look how beautiful she is and her background. I'm so glad you did it from outside because you just look like sunshine.
Oh, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Just want to say too, like being on this podcast, it makes me feel powerful. I think that what you do for ladies is beautiful. And I think that giving them a chance to speak just reminds them that they're valuable. They have something to say. And thank you for your hard work, ladies.
Thank you, love. Thank you for being on.
All right. Take care, everyone. We'll see you the next time around.